Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to the library today. Today we're going to talk about my reading stats for 2021. Yes, I did not read that many books, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to see the statistics on the books that I did read. This is the first time I've ever kept track of this. I used a spreadsheet, and let's get started. So in terms of numbers, I read 22 books and one short story. I know that's not very many, but I had a baby. So the fact that I read anything with a baby is amazing. And had I listened to more audiobooks, I could have read more, but a lot of times I just wanted to chill or do something else. I also DNF'd another 11 books. So most of those I made it around 50% of the way through. So really, when you think about it, I read more than 22 books because I DNF'd so much. In terms of genres, it's really not surprising at all. 13 of the 22 books I read were fantasy, which I am primarily a fantasy reader, so that is not shocking to me at all that it was more than half. Those fantasy books though, some of them also had some like romance elements, magical realism, things like that. But the primary genre of those was fantasy. Mystery, I actually read 4, so that's kind of nice for a little change of pace. I read 2 horror novels and 1 short story horror thing as well. Those were both around Halloween time because I wanted something different. And then I read 1 realistic fiction novel. Why? I don't know. Oh, and I read 2 magical realism novels. I forgot to mention those, but those, I'd say the primary genre was magical realism, and I really enjoyed both those. Okay, so in terms of the age range of these books, I was actually quite shocked that 11 of the 22 that I actually finished and didn't DNF, half of them were young adult. I really didn't expect to read that many young adult novels, but obviously I am a high school librarian, so that kind of makes sense. 9 were adult novels, so I was really happy with that because I definitely want to read more adult. I really enjoy it. I think a lot more than I do YA. And then I actually read 2 middle grade novels, and we'll talk about those more in other videos, but they wound up being my favorite books I read the entire year. It was the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend, and I absolutely loved them. Okay, let's talk about stars. I actually feel pretty good with the star ratings that I gave these things. Apparently I'm starting to learn my taste a little bit more because I actually gave pretty high ratings. I actually had 7 5-star books, which that is mind-blowing to me. I only say 5 stars for books that are like wonderful, so I cannot believe I gave 7 books 5 stars. I gave 1 book 4.5 stars. I gave 5 books 4 stars. So if you look at just the 4 and 5 and 4.5 star books, I gave 13 out of the 22 I read either 4 or 5 stars. So that's like really good. I gave 3 books 3.5 stars. I gave 4 books 3 stars, and I gave 2 books 2 stars. Typically I would DNF anything that's not at least a 3-star, but there were reasons that I read those 2 that were 2 stars. I read Ruin and Rising. I just powered through it because it was the last of the Shadow and Bone trilogy and I just wanted to be done. And the other one was A Gathering of Shadows, which I had such high hopes for because it was the second book in the Shades of Magic series, and the first book I gave 5 stars to and loved it so much. But the second one was so disappointing and so bad, and it literally had like no plot and did not matter at all. It could have not even been a book. She could have just written the first and third book and left out the second one entirely. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I went ahead and finished it though because I thought maybe the third one would get a little bit better. So let's talk about the format. I read 11 out of the 22, so exactly half I read physically, which I can't believe I even had time to do that with the baby. But having the summer off and things like that and breaks throughout the year from school gave me the chance to actually get to read some physical books because that's definitely the way I prefer to read anyway. I listened to 7 audiobooks, and like I said, I could have read more audiobooks had I been more motivated to do so. This year I think I will try more audiobooks because I know it's the way that I'm going to get to read more. I could probably listen to like 2 audiobooks a month. So I mean right there, that's like 24 books that I could read a year just in audio, and I only read 7. So I definitely need to get on that. And I read 4 ebooks. Most of those were when I was holding the baby in the dark, like when he wasn't sleeping well and I would just have to hold him for a while, like early in the morning or something, and I would just read on my phone. So those were the stats, but I also want to talk about the goals that I had made for this year. I went back and watched my goals video from like January or late December, whatever it was, of last year before I had the baby, just to see if any of my goals I'd met them or exceeded them or just totally blew them off entirely or whatever. So I have some funny ones. So my first goal I put was to keep reading, which I did. Now, could I have read more with the audiobooks? Yes, but I did keep reading. I also said listen to audiobooks. I said that I thought the baby would sleep a lot so I would have time to read. That's good. I also said I would try to read a book a week. Definitely didn't do that one. That one book, 10,000 Georges of January, took me like 3 months to read. I said I wanted to read at least 50 books, and I only read 22. I said I don't use Goodreads, but I'm gonna use the app called Bookly. I stopped using Bookly entirely when the baby was born because I didn't want to track my reading sessions when I only sometimes would read a page here or there. It seemed silly to press like the start button and track that, so I just didn't do it. But I do use Goodreads now because I have so many books on my TBR that I don't want to forget about, so I do use Goodreads. I said I'm gonna get books from the library a lot more, which I did some, but honestly I bought like tons. I said I want to read some new books and some old books, which I did do that. I actually read more new books than I thought I would. As far as my channel went, I said I want to keep making videos. I did that. Keep doing vlogs, which I did do some more of those than I usually do. Show how cute the baby is, LOL. And then I said, will he be cute? I hope so. He's very cute, I think. I want to film at home, which I did some. 2 videos a week would be ideal, but I didn't always get time to do that, more like 1. And I also said I want to engage more with other channels and comment on their videos and try to grow my channel. That went out the window. Nope, I did not have time to do that. It was either, you know, do I spend my time reading and making videos or try to engage with other channels? And there's not time for all that. So I chose the route of just reading, doing what I love to do, making videos. Maybe one day I'll get to talk more to other people, but as of right now, there was just no time for that. My personal goals I put were to have a baby, keep it alive, make sure it's happy. Okay, I did all those things. Balance work and baby stuff, which I'm definitely doing more so now. The baby's 10.5 months old, so it's like a lot easier now that I know what I'm doing. I want to get back to normal doing library stuff because last year, of course, I was virtual and the school was virtual part of the year too. So like I wasn't in the library doing library stuff. So I've really missed it. And I have enjoyed actually working on library stuff this year, and play more video games, which I played Zelda a little bit, like Breath of the Wild, but I need to get back into that. So I guess my goals are pretty much the same for next year. Just keep reading, just keep making content. I'm not gonna set any goals because I don't like having expectations to have to live up to, and then it just stress me out more. So I'm just gonna read whatever I can read, and that's about it. Although my goal is to listen to more audiobooks, so I am gonna do that. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. I really liked seeing my stats, and I think I'm gonna keep track of them for next year too. Do you guys keep track of your reading stats? Does everybody do this? I don't know. I feel like I'm definitely the only person I know personally who does this, besides of course booktubers. But anyway, people think I'm crazy, I guess, for keeping track. I showed somebody and they thought I was nuts. Anyway, all right, well, I will talk to you guys again later. Have a good day. Bye.